Home is where Hari is, by Krishna's mercy. जल थल नभ गति अमित अति अग जग जीव अनेक, तुलसी तो से दीन कहम राम नाम गति एक. Quote, there are an infinite number of living beings, both moving and non-moving, who have many different abodes, with some residing in the earth, some in the sky, and some in the water. But, O helpless Tulsi, for you, Shri Rama's holy name is your only home. Dohavali 37. The Acharya explains that the living entity is sarvaga. They can essentially go anywhere. This is not an encouragement for travel into outer space, or an invitation to set up an underwater station to serve as a residence for a 6-month excursion. Indeed, such pursuits are artificial means to accomplish what is already possible through the passage of time, the consequences to action, and the shifts to material nature. Quote, the word sarvagata, all-pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable, because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad-gita 2.24 purport. The living entity is Purush. That which covers the living entity for a temporary period is Prakriti. The Purush aspect does not change, it is fixed. The collective energy of Prakriti is always there, but its manifestation in the visual sense is always changing. That is why we are left in wonder and amazement when looking at a photograph from a decade ago. Was that really us? Why do we look so different? What happened? Time is what happened. It operated on Prakriti such that the elements covering the Purush shifted. That shift is constant, but we tend to only notice across larger intervals of time. This analysis only applies to the single lifetime, beginning at birth and ending at death. Dehino smin yatha dehe, kaumaram yauvanam jara, tatha dehantar praptir, dhiras tatra na muhyati. Quote, as the embodied soul continually passes, in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 2.13. The living entity is sarvaga because it was many places prior to this currently identified birth. It can travel to many places after death. The evidence is in the variety of species. The Vedas cap the number at 8,400,000. That is how many species there are. This number was passed on through the descending process. There was not some amazing scientist who went out and observed and identified every species. The knowledge descended from authority, from the person who knows everything. If the sarvaga living entity can go anywhere, just where exactly is the ideal destination? Is that the reason for aspiring to heaven? Is the heavenly region, Svargaloka, the original home? Are we otherwise lost, like a stranger in a strange land? Is there a place above heaven? Is that why His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada refers to the goal of Bhakti Yoga as going back to Godhead? There is the realm known as Vaikuntha. It is imperishable. It does not go through cycles of creation and destruction like the material world. Vaikuntha is avyakta in the sense that we cannot perceive it with our eyes. It is avyakta when juxtaposed with the vyakta, that is the material world and its many planets. Vaikuntha is a place free of anxieties. It is the eternal home of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and so reaching Vaikuntha is like going back to our original home. At the same time, there is another insight into the concept of an eternal home. At the higher levels of devotion, with the strongest allegiance to the original person, with unwavering dedication in service, the home is the place where Hari is. Hari is another name for the original God, who is the source of both the material and spiritual worlds. Goswami Tulsidas acknowledges that it is possible to find a variety of destinations in the future. He wishes to only be attached to the name of Rama, which is another way to address Hari. As long as there is the ability to chant this name, to contemplate it, to remember it and to honour it, then it is like the devotee is always at home. The pastimes of the goddess of fortune in her descent as Sita Devi offer further insight into the concept of a preferred residence. She is the daughter of King Janak. In an ancient time, marriages took place through careful consideration and arrangement. The parents took care of everything. The daughter essentially got sent away on something like a military enlistment. Go live with some stranger who is now your husband, and dutifully serve together, hopefully strengthening his commitment to Dharma in the process. Because of the abrupt shift in residence, it is natural for the bride in that situation to long for a return to her paternal home. After all, that is the place with which she is most familiar. Her family is there. Lifelong memories were established in that place. It is the location of greatest comfort, standing in stark contrast to the new home, which is strange and unfamiliar. Except, Sita Devi strongly asserts that her only home is by the side of Shri Rama, who is her husband. She can travel with him anywhere, even to a forest. In the most austere conditions, with nothing resembling the enjoyments of regal life, Sita will feel right at home. She will be able to serve Rama, and so she is completely happy. Sukham vane nivatsyami yathaiv bhavane pitu, achintayanti trin lokansh chintayanti pativratam. Quote, I shall happily reside in the forest, considering it to be just like my paternal home, paying no attention to the three worlds and only thinking of devotion to my husband. Sita Devi speaking to Lord Rama, Valmiki Ramayan, Ayodhya Kand, 27-12. This is one way to cure our depression, our sadness, our despair and our hopelessness. We are far away from Vaikuntha, but if we make Hari our home, then we can go back immediately. We can feel safe and secure in always chanting his names and remembering him. In closing, like to foreign land sent, there many years spent. In the future, where to go? Possibilities endless so. But when wisdom appropriately applied, known that home where Hari to reside, Sita Devi even in the forest can live, where support to Rama will give.